Good morning, dear students. Now in this lecture we are going to start chapter 2, morphology of reproductive parts. So in this lecture we are going to study the morphological features of the reproductive parts found in the plants. So the reproductive parts comprises inflorescence, flower and fruit. So in this chapter we are going to study these 3 points: inflorescence, flower and fruit. Now we are going to start the inflorescence. So the higher plants, for example angiosperm, have the characteristic to produce the flower. So we are going to study the first reproductive structure, that is the inflorescence. The lower as well as higher plants have an inherent capacity to reproduce. So they can multiply itself by the process of reproduction, both lower as well as higher plants. The lower plants generally reproduce vegetatively by the formation of various types of spores, conidia, while the higher plant can reproduce by the formation of the flower. The lower plants generally reproduces vegetatively or asexually by the formation of various types of spores, conidia. They also reproduce sexually, but it is of primitive type. Okay, while the higher plants, they can reproduce by the formation of the flower. Among higher plants, cryptogams never produce flowers. Flower formation is the main character of the angiosperm. So once we say the higher plants, for example angiosperm, they have the main characteristic to flower. So flower formation is the main character of angiosperm. The seed bearing plants, spermatophytes, bear very attractive and colorful flowers which after pollination and fertilization produce fruits and seeds. So the flower formation is the characteristic of the angiosperm. More precisely, the seed bearing plants, for example spermatophytes, bear very attractive and colorful flowers which after pollination and fertilization produce fruits and seeds. So pollination is the one of the event where the pollens has been transferred from anther to the stigma of the plant for the purpose of fertilization. So the next event occur is the fertilization, where there is a union of or the fusion of male and female gametes takes place to produce the fruits and then the seeds. So among the higher plants, cryptogams never produce flowers. Flower formation is the main characteristic of the angiosperm, and following pollination and fertilization produce fruits and seeds. The flowers are usually formed after completion of vegetative growth, either on the axillary branches or on the main branches of the stem. So when we sown the seed gets germinate into the plumule and radicle and develops the primary structures like root, stem and leaves. So these root, stem and leaves, we say this is the vegetative growth of the plant. After completion of the vegetative growth, plants start the reproductive growth. The formation of the flower is the sign of the starting of reproductive growth. The flowers are usually formed after the completion of vegetative growth, either on the axillary branches, side branches, lateral branches or on the main branches of the stem. The flower may be formed in bunches or in clusters, or they may be solitary. So after the completion of vegetative growth, the flower formation takes place on the lateral branches or axillary branches or on the main branches of the stem. The flowers may be formed in bunches, in clusters, or they may be single or solitary. Like the arrangement of leaves, the arrangement of flowers also follows some definite plan so that they are exposed to various pollinating agent. So when we see the arrangement of leaf, that we call it as the phyllotaxy. So like the arrangement of the leaves, the arrangement of flower is also specific. It also follow some definite plan so that they are exposed to the various pollinating agents. The nature of flower or inflorescence, indicates the evolutionary sequence in a particular family. Hence, the study of inflorescence is important in morphology, taxonomy, evolution, etc. So, the nature of flower or the inflorescence that indicates the evolutionary sequence, that indicates the origin of a particular plant family. So, the study of inflorescence is important in the morphology, in taxonomy and in evolution also. Now we are going for the definition of inflorescence. Inflorescence is defined as the specialized branch of a plant bearing group of flowers that we call it as the inflorescence. So inflorescence is a group of flowers that has been formed on a specialized branch of a plant that we call it as the inflorescence. Or one can define inflorescence in other way, as it can be defined as the arrangement of flowers on a floral axis of a plant, that is also called as the inflorescence. So inflorescence is the arrangement of flower on the floral axis of a plant that we call it as inflorescence, or it has been defined as the specialized branch of a plant bearing a group of flowers, that is also inflorescence. Okay, so this is the definition of inflorescence. Any one definition you can write in the examination. Inflorescence is defined as the specialized branch of a plant bearing group of flowers. So this is the one. The second one, optional definition, it can be defined as the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis of a plant, that is also the inflorescence. Okay, so you can choose any one of the definition for inflorescence. Okay, next is the parts of inflorescence. The main leafless reproductive shoot or axis bearing several flowers is termed as peduncle. So peduncle is one of the part of the inflorescence. So in this figure you can see this is an elongated structure where the flowers has been formed, which is leafless, bears several flowers. That axis it is called as the peduncle. So this is a peduncle on which the flowers has been formed. This structure it is called as the peduncle. So the main leafless reproductive shoot or axis bearing several flowers is termed as peduncle. So this is the one of the part of the inflorescence. The stalk supporting a single flower on an axis or peduncle is called as the pedicel. So the stalk of the flower it is called as pedicel. So here is the pedicel, the stalk of the flower it is called as the pedicel. Like the stalk of the leaf it is called as petiole. So the flower also having a stalk, it is called as pedicel. So the stalk to which the flower has been attached to the peduncle. So the stalk supporting a single flower on an axis or peduncle is called as pedicel. So here this flower also possesses the stalk to which it attached to the peduncle or main axis. The flower with pedicel is known as pedicellate. If the flower having a pedicel, the flower is called as pedicellate flower. The flower without pedicel, it is termed as sessile. So these are the morphological characteristics or the terminology by which we can describe the flower. If the flower having a pedicel, the flower is pedicellate. If the flower without pedicel, it is termed as sessile. So the flower with pedicel, it is pedicellate. The flower without pedicel, it is sessile. What is pedicel? Pedicel is the stalk of the flower that support on an axis or peduncle. It is called as the pedicel. Okay. Then usually the peduncle is more or less elongated. So that was seen in this figure. It is elongated. It is a straight. The peduncle is elongated, but sometimes it becomes flat, fleshy, cup shape, called as receptacle. So in some plant, for example sunflower, this peduncle instead of it is elongated, it becomes flat, fleshy, cup shape. It is called as receptacle. So in this plant, the peduncle it is called as receptacle if it is flat, fleshy, cup shape, for example sunflower. So in this figure we can see also, this is the figure of the sunflower. This is the receptacle which is flat, fleshy, cup shape. So we called it as a receptacle instead of the peduncle. So in the sunflower, the peduncle is more or less elongated, but in sunflower it is flat, fleshy and cup shape called as the receptacle. For example, sunflower. So in the previous figure we say that the peduncle is elongated, it is straight, but in sunflower it becomes flat, fleshy, cup shape. So for the peduncle we called, in the sunflower it is receptacle on which the flowers has been formed. Okay. Next, so this is the, when the flowers are formed singly in the axil of ordinary foliage, they are called as axillary and solitary. When the flowers are formed singly in the axil of ordinary foliage, they are called as axillary and solitary. The peduncle and its branches, if any, arise in the axil of a specialized leafy structure called as bracts. So the bracts are reduced leaf that has been formed in the axil of the peduncle and pedicel. Okay, so this is called as the bract. And if the bract is present in the flower is called as bracteate. And if the bract is not to the flower, it is called as ebracteate. So bract is a leaf-like structure. So this is the bract, which is like a leaf. Okay, and if it is present, the flower is bracteate. So the peduncle and its branches arise in the axil of a specialized leafy structure called as the bract. So these are the bracts. So the flower is called as bracteate flower. Okay. If the bracts are very small as compared to the size of the flower, they are termed as bracteoles. So bracteoles are like the bracts, but they are very small as compared to the size of the flower. So such bracts are called as the bracteoles. If the bracts are very small as compared to the size of the flower, they are termed as bracteoles. Bracts may be green like a leaf or colored and very attractive like petals, for example bougainvillea. So in bougainvillea, so this is the figure of the bougainvillea flower where the bract is colored, it is attractive like the petals. So here this is the photograph of the bougainvillea. So these are the bracts, 1, 2, 3. These are the bracts. These are not the petals. They are like the petals. So such bracts, it is petaloid bract. Oid means like the petal. It is colorful, attractive like the petal. So the bracts in the bougainvillea, it is petaloid bracts. Okay. So bracts are leaf-like. They are generally green in color. But in bougainvillea, it is colorful and attractive like the petal. So the name of such bract in the bougainvillea, it is petaloid bracts. Okay. Then bract protects the flower in a bud stage. Sometime when bract is very large and covers the entire inflorescence, it is known as spathe. For example, arum. The bract protects the flower in the bud stage. Sometimes when bract is very large and covers the entire inflorescence, it is known as spathe. So in case of arum plant, the bract is very large that covers this is the inflorescence that covers the entire inflorescence. It is known as spathe. For example, arum, in Marathi we say it is adu. So in arum plant, the bract is very large which completely covers the inflorescence. So it is called as spathe. Okay. Sometimes the inflorescence is surrounded by a ring of many bracts which are collectively called as involucral bracts. For example, sunflower. So in sunflower plant, what happens? The inflorescence is surrounded by a ring of many bracts which are collectively called as involucral bracts. So if there are a ring of many bracts which surrounds the inflorescence, it is called as involucral bracts. So in this picture we can see this involucral bracts. So this is the ring of many bracts that surrounds the inflorescence. So this is called as involucral bracts, which is the characteristics found in the sunflower. Okay. This is the involucral bract, for example, sunflower. While in case of arum, the bract which completely covers the inflorescence, it is called as spathe. In sunflower, it is involucral bract which forms a ring of many bracts surrounding the inflorescence, that is involucral bracts. Okay. Now we are going to study the types of inflorescence. So the inflorescence has been divided into two types, racemose and cymose. Okay. The racemose is further divided into nature of the peduncle. If the main axis or peduncle is elongated, if the main axis is flattened, if the main axis is shorter. Okay. This racemose is again divided into three main categories on the basis of nature of peduncle or main axis. If peduncle or main axis it is elongated, if the main axis is flattened, and if the main axis is short. Okay. So here the first one type of racemose inflorescence, it is raceme. The raceme is further divided into two types, simple raceme, compound raceme. Then spike, simple spike, compound spike. Spadix, mixed spadix and compound spadix. Then if the main axis is flattened, then there are two types again, head or capitulum. In the head or capitulum, simple capitulum, compound capitulum. If the main axis is shortened, simple umbel, compound umbel. These are the types of racemose inflorescence. The another one main category, that is the cymose. Cymose has been divided into four main types, simple cyme, uniparous cyme, biparous cyme and multiparous cyme. So simple cyme, where the flower is single, simple, solitary cyme. Uniparous cyme, it is again divided into two types, helicoid and scorpioid. The third one type is the biparous cyme, and the last is the multiparous cyme. So this is the types of inflorescence. The two main categories are racemose and cymose. The racemose is further divided on the basis of nature of peduncle, if the peduncle is elongated, if the peduncle is flattened, and if the peduncle is shortened. So on the basis of which there are again many subtypes of the racemose inflorescence. Then in case of cymose, there are four main types, simple cyme, uniparous cyme, biparous cyme and multiparous cyme. So these are the types of inflorescence. So in the next lecture, we are going to study in detail the various types of inflorescence, that is racemose and cymose. Okay. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.